I'm feeding your family through welfare. All right, so you listen. You need to calm down. So through Versace, we have the Discord casino. We used to have the in-game casino, but we're not. We found that people like the Discord one a little bit more. So we run that, and we also do the buy and sell, similar to what Vernicia's does. And Versace will also we think that a big reason the economy isn't doing as well as it could be is because people aren't playing the game. Um, I think that gathering materials yourself is really, it's key to making money. That's how you maximize profit. You don't have to pay a supplier when you can just go get it all yourself. So that's what we've been doing. Obviously we have suppliers for some items, but gathering items yourself, I think is part of being the best type of business model. Obviously it's super time intensive, but that's how you make money on the server, in my opinion. That's what I've always done, and I think I turned out pretty great, unlike Kirk's over here.
Would you say that part of
it's trifecta, you
Versace's?
don't.
Oh, jeez. Would you say that the sort of route to the success of the Versace store, besides Spawn, is the subletting of individual shop spots?
Yeah. I mean, I think that I obviously the Home Depot has, or no, sorry, Chip Corp has a sell chest that we've let them use in our CBD store. We've let Random Intruder, I'm forgetting the name of her business, By the Barrel. Yeah. By the Barrel, they have a chest out in our shop. I think that, I think the power of collaboration is really good, benefits when we do collaborate. Obviously, at the time you had I think you're selling kelp. We didn't have kelp at the time. We're still not selling kelp there. And when there's a fireworks shortage, Intruder wanted to step in, and she decided that she wanted to use our store to sell kelp. So it obviously brought us business as well, and it helps them out. I mean, I think that having that sort of corporate social responsibility is really important. And yeah, we're trying to help out in any way we can.
Nice. I do know that, not that I'm biased towards the Chip Corp brand or anything, but I must say
nice rug
that.
you got here.
Oh, honestly, I think the colors match the studio very well. I must admit. All in all, I think that we're seeing a lot more. You have the big name companies such as Versace or Lucky's or formerly Hilton, as well as Walgreens, and a couple different variations of them. I think seeing the fact that they're incorporating smaller stores, like one-time shops, for instance, as you were saying with the kelp cell chest.
Mm-hmm.
I see companies being more successful as that because as subletting out the maintaining of the inventory rather than where the company actually had to maintain that inventory themselves because they found it to be less feasible as well as less uh, efficient for them to have to manage it, and now they're just letting other companies do it. Would you concur with that?
There's a lot of wholesaling going on at the moment.
Yes,
well,
selling in bulk has been huge.
Yeah.
Anything else, guys?
The whole property layout around Spawn, I think, has been a big issue because, for my opinion, I've been heavily involved in building and stuff. I think that really affects commerce. Like the way the roads are laid out around Spawn, it kind of divides up the main business area. Like ideally, you want small shop spaces centralized around a central market of sorts. That's why I think the former CBD in Hamilton was really good for that because it kind of served that purpose really well. I think the current one's not great. I think that could be something that the government could do to improve business on the server, build like a proper centralized place of business. But we also have the other issues like Diggy's talking about, like people aren't getting in game as much. COVID's over. And Trent said, that's tied to inflation then as well. As the server gets older, there's more money in circulation. We really need to be trying to take that out with pruning people and then burning the money, not giving it to the government, and have the government collect its own money through taxation. like the economy at the moment, we're kind of in a state of stagflation. Economic growth is down, unemployment is high, and inflation is high. To get out of that, we need to, funnily enough, kind of push inflation more. So increase spending, but we also need to use money better. Downsize the government, make it more make it harder to get money, and make the private sector more attractable by giving out grants and pushing the extraction industry, such as wood, stone, that sort of stuff. And I think the best way that the government could do that probably is through the DCT and the paste fee method. I think the DOI is involved in this as well. I'm not too sure at the moment with the supply depots. So having forcing people to collect those resources before buildings can actually be pasted in. Because I think especially the rich people on the server, one thing that they really like is having nice property, having yachts, having mansions, skyscrapers. So I think if you want to fix the economy, you need to go after that stuff.
I know that there's murmurs within, that we've heard through the grapevine with the DCT as talking about, a possible update to the actual pace fee policy. Because there was a lot of discussion, I believe, in politics the other day, in regards to, in specific to literally the pace fee. And I know that, Apple's up in the DCT have actually begun discussion on actually amending the pace fee policy to potentially, who knows what kind of heights that they're going with. But I do know that the discussion has sparked the actual attention of high-ranking individuals within the DCT. So who knows? We could possibly see an amendment to the policy coming out.
I think the paste fee thing, it's putting such a high demand on money. You just pay $15K to get a building pasted in or whatever it is, but you're not actually having to collect the blocks. So that leads to lower demand for raw materials and a greater demand for money. And because the government's just printing it like it's no tomorrow and getting $1 million loans off the CRB, that's kind of causing the inflation issues that we're seeing. So I think that's something that needs to be really solved as soon as possible. It's going to be unpopular though, so I don't.
Oh, 100%, of course. Any time that the government goes in and begins starting to change policy and procedure, people get very up in arms against the process. I've seen it with my long tenureship within the server as well as you. I'm usually the one driving the change within the government.
Yeah.
Not to point fingers. But we see people go up in arms all the time. But with that being said, I was going to think we could go ahead and move on to our next topic. A big hit in the economy recently with the current pending impeachment verdict on former President Deadwax.
But so I think the biggest thing with that Deadwax impeachment was probably from the political perspective. Deadwax was really pushing economic changes in the government. That was a big priority of him looking at the campaign. The salary restructuring away from every 15-minute pay to people getting paid, and I think it was either bi-weekly or monthly lump sums. I'm not in the executive, so I'm not sure how that worked exactly, but I think that was really a great move and something I'll attribute it. I think it was a good thing Deadwax did, although he ended there a little bit shakily at the end, because it actually allows the government to keep track of how much money is going out of the government balance on a bi-weekly or monthly basis. Something we weren't really able to track accurately before, especially on a department basis. So that was something good Deadwax did, and then he was looking at the paste fee situation. I'm not sure what Derpy's doing now, or if there's plans to revert back to the 15-minute pay thing or continue the bi-weekly or monthly salary thing. So if any executive members that are here know anything about that, feel free to jump in.
Never possibly comment, of course.
Yeah. Oh, you go ahead.
Well, I was just gonna turn back around and say that the economic state of the question was always asked publicly to secretaries as well as former administrations. I know, Diggy, I feel like you got scrutinized quite a bit, as a former president for what was that magic number? The magic number in which that the salaries, what did they cost a month? I literally saw I think they were talking in politics the other day. I say the other day, and it could literally be like a month ago, but I think someone actually threw out a number, and it was like a spitball ballpark estimate that just looked completely absurd. But when it came under question, like, you know, it wasn't supported by any number. So like, I feel like that further backs up that no one truly knows exactly what a salary actually costs the government in a month or a week or whatever time frame that you measured it on.
Right.
Because, you know, everyone has a different play. Everyone has a different amount of time that they play in any given time.
Like, Nacho, that's one of the most important things for an economy. Like, if we don't know what the outgoings are, then how do we know to financially plan around that?
In an economy, that's just general accounting 101. Like,
yeah,
you can't be in the black if you don't know what your expenses are. I mean, to me, it still litters me that a secretary could, with a straight face, go to a rep or a senator and say that I need this much money for the month, and then explain to that in full detail as to what they need that money for. Like, you know, it's reported to Congress that XYZ was for bonuses. You know, but did Congress ever act on that? Like, I feel like this was a two-way road in which that both sides of the road were like conflicting each other.
Yeah.
Like the lack of Congress follow-up versus the lack of the department like actually usefully spending the money.
I want to circle back to the original question for a second about the impact of the closure of, you know, our LH Credit and and Lucky's. I think that first and foremost, I don't think that either closure was a symptom of the economy. I think both owners fell into a trap where they made some very poor political choices, and as a result suffered. And that caused the collapses of their companies.
Yeah, like you went after Milky, just like you kind of removed. Well, you removed one of the biggest like business players on the server.
I don't know who that is. I don't know who that is.
Yeah, sure. Like, yeah, like Milky being removed from the server, like definitely was a huge blow. He was hugely involved in business, like up and down the economy on all levels.
Well, his company has still been number one moneymaker on the server for ever since.
What was that? Sorry,
I'd have to kind of blame Diggy for that loss. Not gonna lie.
Yeah. No. I think that, you know, if anyone took the time to ask the real questions, you know, they would understand what happened. But I'm not going to get into that in this economy talk. I think that
you took the man out. You took him out.
I didn't take anyone. I didn't take anyone out. That individual, you know, I think made some very poor decisions, and as a result, suffered the consequences of those poor decisions. Yeah, I mean, I think that it's hard, right, to be great at, you know, business and also at politics. I know Crix doesn't know how to be good at either, but I think that you need to avoid making poor political choices and just poor choices in whatever you say next.
Justice is turned on him. You know,
if you like your job, I would stop talking. Well,
you said I like my job.
Well, yeah. I mean, it's obvious the way, you know, you the way you carry yourself. I'm
an inspiration. I know. I'm an inspiration.
Yeah. You inspire thugs everywhere.
I inspire people up and down this country from all walks of life. I don't pander to the rich like you, little Deaver.
I don't pander to the rich either. I don't pander to anyone. I am the living, breathing God, ex Gandhi, ex, you know.
Well, okay, Kanye West.
Don't mean to completely gut them off here, but you know, after that, I think we should probably just go to a short commercial break, so that way we can let these two get a room and hopefully hug it out or fight it out. You know.
Hi, people lied.
No, be quiet over there. Well, anyways, we'll cut to break first, and after that, we'll be back with some ways to fix the economy.
Yeah, fire Crix.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Hey, it's Whackjap. You might have heard of me. I started out on the server with a small shop, Nook and Cranny, and got my first plot with the help of Teon, and I got my first set of gear from Goldblooded's enchant shop. Later on, I worked with Freeze and Vernicia in headhunting, and Deadwax and Snow were good neighbors of mine in the Southwest Business District in Hamilton. I've worked with Marty and Rouge when I was mayor of Oak Ridge, and I'm a representative of crime on the server. I'm also tech stock, but that's not important. I've got a business, Spectre. We do things differently here. Maybe that's not really your way of doing things, but we like being different. But hey, what do I know? It's not like you've heard of any of these guys.
Now, welcome back to. Honestly, this is just an economic discussion between 5 individuals who kind of know what they're talking about when it comes to the economy.
Bitch.
You know, just sit down. Jesus Christ.
He's like a cat, dude.
Yeah, he literally. Well, he was talking about cats earlier. Ways to fix the economy. So earlier in the episode we talked about various tragedies that have occurred within the economy, from the closing of Lucky's to the improperly leadership within the DOC, issues with the CRB, different business models that have worked versus that have failed. So now let's talk about things that we see, obviously, that can assist with mending these issues within the economy. Trent, since you are kind of like the resident individual from the government organization charged with getting this corrected, what does the DOC have in mind for working to improve? I assume shaking your head means nothing.
I'm just bored moving my mouse around. That's essentially the reason why I have started getting us measuring some more things in depth to figure out which industries in general are suffering the most, so that with the DOE we can potentially introduce new jobs or alternative crafting recipes for jobs in order to get more items in circulation.
Alrighty. Is there anything... So wait, do you work for the DOE or the DOC?
Both.
So what was the purpose of splitting them up if you work for both? Sorry, that just makes no sense.
I had no say in it, and it was sprung on us basically last second, so I've got no fucking idea whatsoever, but I do enjoy it because of the fact that there's no reason for the education department to be mixed in with the commerce department.
Okay, that makes sense.
Okay, so I think we should fix the economy by first looking at the government spending. Obviously, we need to figure out how much that is. How much do we spend on salaries and all the government expenditures? And I'm sure there's excess that you could just cut, and that would obviously drive down inflation, less government spending, and government. So the current government balance, I'm not sure what it is, but it has started going down again. If you look at the last graph,
as long as it's not my salary.
No, we're definitely cutting your salary. Fire him.
I was just curious why. Like, I don't care if I don't get $5 every 15 minutes. That's not a big deal to me. But obviously, there are some important parts of the government that should be paid, like Cricks. That's an important part. They should get paid.
Yeah, he's not important.
I agree.
He needs to be fired. What?
Let's give me a bonus.
High-ranking government officials should be paid, and there are important parts of the government, but I feel like we should go between.
I wouldn't consider DPA secretary important,
Jesus
Basically,
Christ.
just have every government employee on a government job on a spreadsheet. The current administration should go through it, determine, and they should do a vote on the Discord.
It's like a hit list.
Discord. Basically say, do you think this is necessary? And then it will be voted on by the people of Redmond.
People for everything.
And then,
yeah, it's your phrase, correct.
I think it should be the people's decision, and then give it like the election 48 hours to vote, and you basically vote is this
election for who gets paid.
Well, it would only be specific jobs. Like, it wouldn't be the important jobs wouldn't be voted on.
So some people don't even get a vote. Okay, I get you now.
No, everyone votes, and then you basically just the administration will choose jobs. Those in the Discord, people vote on if they should continue, and however the vote determines, if it's cut, then the government will save money.
So it's like getting rid of individual roles within departments, basically cutting off vestigial organs.
Just stuff that's not needed.
Government layoffs.
That's government spending.
Like, can we fire Trent? Do we need Trent? He's American. Is that going to affect our decision? Like, that's
look at his skin. Look at his skin. I mean, we probably should. Okay. And moving on to Crix, what are some ideas you have for saving this economy?
Yeah, we probably just need to fire half of the government employees. Then we
like
need
a straight up half.
Yeah, probably just go in there. You're fired. You're fired. You're fired. We'll keep
government layoffs.
Basically,
Nice.
then we pay. Then we move to we keep Deadwax's probably monthly or bi-weekly salary thing, and get away from the 15 minutes thing. Stop giving every single person in departments a bonus. Like a bonus, you go to like 1 or 2 people in each department.
Like me.
Or else, like the people that actually do a lot of work, and then, yeah, we just need to scrutinize spending overall more and try and balance the books. So look at what are our outgoings and how much money are we making from fines and tax, and then look at where we can increase government income and cut expenditure. It's like basically just balance the books.
All right.
And go from there. Makes sense.
I mean, when it comes to bringing in money passively, I've had this idea that I've wanted to implement, but haven't really figured out how I would go about it. It involves a citizenship exam, so effectively, you start off on the server in a resident role, which allows you to let's say rent land and open up a chess shop. However, you can't derive any benefits from government services or anything like that.
That'd be violating a bit of a citizen's rights.
Well, no, you would be capable of becoming a citizen through an exam. Because you're not necessarily I guess you could say it's based off the Roman system of residency. Anyone could live within Rome and be a Roman. However, they're not a Roman citizen unless they go through a series of tests.
Slavery, basically.
And on the Constitution of Redmond, it says that every citizen, like every person, has the right to be a citizen, like by joining the server.
Yes. By joining the server, you are still guaranteed the right to become a citizen. You just have to take a test.
What if you fail?
You'll have an exam to view.
Then
do we ask questions like who the best president was, and they get correct answers, correct and stuff?
Jesus Christ. Okay, moving on.
All 6 weeks, right?
Yeah, exactly.
There's 6 answers.
Being able to take a residency or a citizenship exam would require you to know the basic laws and the rules of the server. It would provide cash to the government and lower the burden on it.
So you're going to charge someone who's new here you're going to charge them to be a citizen?
Are you going to tell me we don't do this in real life?
I'm not talking about real life. I'm talking about the red bond.
We're like spawning the money out of thin air, giving it to them, then we're just taking it back.
Yeah, might as well just have them start with a lower balance. Push them down a hill.
The thing is, we aren't giving them the money. It's spawned into the server and would come back to us through the exam. To say that we are giving them the money is completely erroneous.
That's just pruning. It's the exact same thing. We're spawning the money and giving it to the government. We're adding the middleman.
Yes, that is true, but we are still in need of a passive form of income that no one.
That's just pruning, and all we're doing in the process is removing people's rights.
If you would shut the fuck up and let me talk.
Not my fault.
I would if you would shut up.
Not my fault. What you say doesn't make any sense.
Now, if you would let me speak, it is the exact same thing as pruning, and it does have the exact same effect. However, no one is coming up with passive ways to bring in money, and we need to do something. Does anyone here have an idea to bring in money passively?
Taxes.
Personally,
taxes are the laziest way to bring in money.
It's still passive.
It's the laziest way to bring in money that just creates a burden on everyone in the system.
If you're going to make money, you have to take it from someone else. Spawning it in just creates the inflation problem further.
This money is already spawned in.
No, you want to spawn in more money.
Then you're
the government.
In what way am I saying I want to spawn in more money?
Well, just lower the starting balance for them, man.
Sure, we could do that. Anyways, we're not going to go down that road again. We're not going to go down that road again.
You're actually hurting small business by lowering that as well, because that's great.
Trent has an idea, and I think it could use some assistance in getting it ironed out before it gets rolled out, of course. Because there's the legal factor behind it, obviously. But all in all, I hope the DOC takes an opportunity to take a look at the suggestion, and hopefully ignore critics along the way. But last but not least, so that way we're able to wrap up here tonight, is little Diggyvert. The man, the myth, legend, the man wearing sunglasses in a very dark room. Does that make sense?
Yes, sir. I think that there are a few important things that we can be doing. That's, the first thing, and looking at the government balance, I don't think the government balance is the end all be all the state of the economy. You look at, like, for example, in my presidency, we had an all-time high in spending, an all-time high in circulation, when we didn't have taxes for a month. So, you know what I'm saying?
No.
What?
Nothing.
Okay.
That's good.
So I think the first way to raise the government balance is to increase the price of pace, and to encourage kelp as well, and to encourage the collection of raw resources. I think playing the game is the thing you can be doing. The second way is, I think, opening up more businesses, taking advantage of economic opportunities available to you. I know the DOC still doing this. Towns at the individual level are doing grants for small businesses like Aventura. I think taking advantage of those opportunities, playing the game, max voting, by doing /vote, not like voting for politicians. I don't think they have your best interests at heart, to be very honest.
Campaign fund? What? Never mind.
I think that, what I'm saying. I think that it's really important that we we shouldn't be relying on the government to solve the economic issues that we face, because
like the plot crisis.
Frankly, they're dudes.
Like the government we've seen is ineffective at solving these issues. We should really be doing it from the ground up. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, we do know what you're saying.
You know what I'm saying?
You know what I'm saying?
I'd be able to say something I said last night in the economics channel.
Sure.
Right, 1 second.
Oh. Thought you knew it off the top of your head.
So, Redmont is in a tightening funding environment because there's no longer access to the minting requests. And we just saw a slowdown in consumer spending, the lowest it's been since October, and way down from the peak in September. I believe this is all driven from the shortages we are seeing in the supply market to retail companies. We've also seen almost a dead stop in major transactions like M&A, and companies going public and reorganizations. Inflation is also up 20% from the CPI we just got the other day. It seems the Redmont economy might not be doing as good as everyone thought. I believe we should try to get ourselves out of the slump to the September highs in consumer spending and better availability of funding for large financial transactions.
Well, honestly, tonight has been very eye-opening. I hope that we all learn. Okay. I hope we all take this opportunity to learn some interesting things about the economy, as well as the state of the economy, to help improve as well as progress our economy. Until next time, my name is Nacho, and we're out.